Hi, my name is Dom. I've been putting out some videos around inquiry in the Diamond Approach, and someone pointed out I haven't introduced myself. So today's that day. I thought today I would tell you a little bit about me and how I came to the path of the Diamond Approach and to inquiry. So my name is Dominic Lieber. I'm a Diamond Approach teacher. I'm originally from South Africa, but I have been living in London the last few years. So I qualified as an actuary and I worked many years in life and health insurance, in consulting, and towards the end in private equity investment. And now I have completely changed focus, and for the last couple of years am fully spending my time working with the Diamond Approach. So how did I come to the Diamond Approach? I was introduced to meditation by my dad in my teens, and I did transcendental meditation, various other kinds of meditation. And at some point, you know, if you engage in a spiritual practice, you start to have experiences. And it started to dawn on me that everything that was written about in religion or in sort of books on spirituality, that there was really something real to it, right? That there was something that I was experiencing and feeling that had a definite reality, and I was captivated by that reality. It really radically reoriented my life. I had qualified as an actuary already in my 20s, and the models of spirituality that I had available to me at the time, you know, were very much the traditional models. So I decided I wanted to leave my work and leave relationships, and I basically lived like a monk for a couple of years, and even spent a year with the Jesuits. And I ran into two basic problems. So firstly, although the experiences that I were having were undoubtedly real, right? There was definitely something happening, right? Something profound and meaningful, something divine, something amazing. I could not get my head around, really, any of the explanations that were offered about what was going on. So the way that this was held within either the religious framework or some of the more esoteric frameworks, it's like, I just don't think I really get this or can really make sense of it. So this led to, it was a great difficulty, right? A great crisis. They often say a crisis of faith, right? You either sort of trust in God and just keep going with the process, and even though a whole lot of it doesn't make sense, you just go with it. Or, you know, many people at that point kind of leave and can't find a way to reconcile these things. The second problem that I ran into was that although on my first discovery of this amazing world, I was willing to up sticks and leave everything, and I did for a number of years, at some point I thought, you know, that just isn't it either. Right? I don't want to leave life and relationships and following a personal sort of career of my interests and what's meaningful to me in order to pursue my spirituality. Right? I don't want to leave the world. I want to be in the world. And I really felt this very strong wish that, in a way, I wanted to have it all. I wanted the spirituality, and I wanted to be in the world. One day, by chance really, I was browsing through a bookshop and my eye sort of lighted on a book called The Diamond Approach. And I pulled it out, and on the cover there was an endorsement by Ken Wilber. Now, I was a big Ken Wilber fan. I think he did some really seminal work on bringing together science and spirituality in a way that was very valuable, really shaped a lot of my own thinking. So I took this book, John Davis's book on the Diamond Approach, and I was amazed. It was a revelation, right? So in this book, I could find states that I had experienced, clearly described in unmistakable terms, different kind of spiritual states. But not only the states, also a very detailed understanding of the psychology affected or concerned with those states and how that affected a person's experience with those states, and also an amazingly precise understanding of the process that one would have to follow in working through these various issues. So here was somebody who not only understood the state, but understood why I felt amazing that day, and then 3 days later felt like absolute hell, which continued for several weeks, right? And what that was about and why that was going on. And as I say, that was a revelation. So I wrote off to the school in the States. I said, what do I need to do? You tell me I need to move to the States, I'll move to the States to study this. I want to know about this. And fortunately, they were starting a retreat group at the time in Colorado, and they said, no, you can just come on retreat twice a year for 8 days. And amazingly enough, John Davis was one of the teachers of that group, which was a wonderful coming together. So I've been a student of the Diamond Approach ever since, nearly 20 years now. And in the last couple of years, I'm really putting my effort and my time into teaching. And the Diamond Approach then has really been the resolution of those two dilemmas that I spoke about earlier. That firstly, that we were talking about the inner world and the spiritual experience, this part of our nature that really is part of who and what we are as human beings, but talking about it in a way that made sense. We weren't talking about evil spirits and good spirits. We weren't using some weird esoteric language and mystical system to talk about it. We could talk about it in very tangible, concrete terms. We spoke about object relations, about psychological structures, and this whole knowledge of psychology that has developed in the last 100 odd years since Freud really allows us to shed light on these things that go on in our consciousness in a way that we can make sense of. So that was the one major resolution. And the other major resolution is that in the Diamond Approach, there really is no need to go anywhere to find your spiritual depth, right? Your spiritual depth, your true nature, your essence, whatever you want to call it, it's you, right? It's the depth of what you are, of your consciousness. And that is living in your life all the time, right? You might not be aware of it, but you don't have to go anywhere. If you can explore into your immediate experience, it's what's going on moment by moment all the time. Right? So you don't have to leave relationships. You don't have to leave a career or work or engagement with the world or any of those things. In fact, each and every one of those things is a doorway through which you can discover parts of your nature, different parts of your nature that engage in all these different possibilities of life. And you can discover what gets in the way, and in that process of exploring and discovering the barriers, they begin to open up, right? And then you find that who and what you really are is freer and freer to live your life in all the circumstances of your life. Different people are drawn by different things, so I'm not saying at all that this is what'll do it for you. I'm just sharing one person's perspective of what really drew me initially to the path. If you find any of these videos or material useful or interesting, you can like or follow it on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Please feel free to share. Please feel free to comment and write to me. I'd love to hear from you with your thoughts or questions or suggestions for things that you'd like to hear more about. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I hope to hear from you.